Now, though, my next guest is a hugely successful businessman who's been to the very edge of space. And now, Sir Richard Branson is telling his story in a new docu-series. Branson joins me now live from Necker Island. It is so good to see you. What a life you're having. And that must have been, making that series must have been amazing to look back, but also incredibly emotional.
It was amazing, and it was emotional, and it was just incredible how TV documentary makers managed to find so much footage that you think has been lost in hurricanes or fires or sunk in oceans. But it was a wonderful experience. Look at that, and it's great to have it all down in the same way that writing a book, it's great to have captured a life's work.
Well, of course, because you've updated the book, Finding My Virginity, and on the front, Bill Gates says, a terrific read. I don't see anything from Elon Musk. Did he not give you a nice review? And is there that sort of competitiveness between you two, or is that just made up?
We're actually friends. I mean, Elon was good enough to turn up on the day that I flew to space. I got out of bed thinking it was 1:30 in the morning. It was sorry, I think it was 4:30. It was actually 1:30. Bounced out of bed, went to the kitchen, and there he was with his baby in the kitchen, and he'd just come to surprise us. And it's great to have a couple of hours conversation with him prior to going up to space. So he was very gracious to support another competitor.
Because it's fantastic what you both are doing. It's absolutely amazing, and you have had that experience. I mean, we saw some of the visuals there, and this is something that you are incredibly passionate about. Is it true there's going to be a lottery, Richard, that maybe one of us could actually be up there?
We are doing lotteries. I had the great pleasure of going to Antigua, up into the mountains of Antigua to find a lady that had it was actually the first Caribbean lady to win a free trip to space. So on occasions we will come out with ways of trying to enable people who couldn't ever dream of before to go to space, and we will continue to do that.
Yes, I will be buying many a lottery ticket on that. That is such a brilliant way of also making people really interested. That's the thing, it's got people passionate about it again, which is great. Safe to say, in this, and indeed in the book, you like a challenge. It kind of looks like, though, everything in your life is golden. You know, you start off, I mean, everybody bought Tubular Bells, and you couldn't get a record deal for that, so you basically, you launch your own, well, here's the music. You launch your own record company, and then, it looks like everything, you just bounce from success to success, which you did, but I bet there was a lot of sleepless nights in there too.
Yes, there were a lot of sleepless nights, and I think the documentary gets that across. We started with nothing. I mean, with $200 from my mother finding a necklace, and if you don't have financial backing, there's a very thin dividing line between success and failure. And we on occasions came very, very, very close to going the wrong side of that line, including, I remember when the bank manager turned up at my house, telling me on a Friday after we launched Virgin Atlantic that the Coutts and Company did not fancy supporting an airline mogul, and that they would be pulling the rug on the Monday, and that was certainly a very hairy moment.
Absolutely, but you're a man that knows the value of a good PR photograph, and that was unusual, because most businessmen they wouldn't do that sort of thing, but it was great, and you're so passionate about what you do, and I think that just comes across. Has that been handed down to your kids? Do they have that sense of challenge and adventure?
Yes, they do. I mean, they don't need to have the photo opportunity to get themselves on the front page of a newspaper to build a brand like I did.
Sure.
what my kids love to do. They have something called the Strive Challenge, which we go on every year together, where we just come back from climbing Mount Kenya. We're about to embark on a challenge in Bhutan. So at least once a year, we take a group of people, we raise money for good causes, and we climb mountains and do extreme bike rides and hikes, and that's great to be able to do together. So they some of my adventure side has rubbed off on them.
Absolutely, of course it has. Now, your mum shines through the book and also through the documentary. You must miss her every single day. What an incredible woman she was.
Yeah, I think we all miss our mums, and they almost called the documentary, instead of calling it Branson, they nearly called it Son of Eve, because my mum's called Eve. But she was a relentless force. She disguised herself as a man to be able to, get into the forces during the war. She was always starting new ventures. They were never very successful, but she tried to get extra food on the table, and she was always being adventurous, and so I think I make some of her entrepreneurism, I think, rubbed off on me.
Oh, I bet it did. They should make a movie of her life, Richard, and maybe you could get Kate Winslet to play her, because I know when you had that awful, horrendous fire on Necker Island, Kate helped your mum, didn't she? I mean, that was scary.
Yeah, we had at about 4 a.m. in the morning, a horrendous fire, and Kate happened to be staying in the main house, and she whisked my mum into her arms and to get her down the steps quickly, and also, I suspect, to get her own kids down the steps quickly, so my mum didn't hold everybody up. But anyways, they got everybody out, and then Kate fell in love with my nephew, and they ended up getting married, and they've got 2 beautiful children as a result. So sometimes out of disaster comes magic.
It does, and it is magic. You're absolutely right. You had to do a thing that the astronauts have to do, and people who go on voyages have to do, dangerous, life-threatening voyages it can be. And you had to make a video to say bye-bye that people would only hear if it all gone horribly wrong. That must be the most difficult thing to do.
Yes, I've done it on a number of occasions, before going on balloon trips or boating trips, or and talking about oneself in the past tense is strange, and trying to get the words out cannot be easy sometimes. So, but anyway, I think it's an important thing that people do when they embark on adventures, but also just being part of life. You have to accept you're not going to live forever, and it's good to make sure you get your house in order.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, look, you look like a teenager. It's ridiculous. You're full of enthusiasm. You're full of optimism. You do incredible things. I can't wait to hear about your next challenge. Finding My Virginity is out now, and the series Branson continues Sunday on Sky Documentaries and Now TV. A joy to talk to you on beautiful Necker Island. Thank you so much. Great to see you.
Thanks, Lorraine.
Thank you.